A teenage boy accused of killing his stepsister on a cruise ship will remain in the custody of a family member as he awaits trial.
16-year-old Timothy Hudson left federal court earlier in Miami after a federal judge decided not to send him to jail. Hudson has pleaded not guilty to charges of aggravated sexual abuse and first-degree murder in the death of his 18-year-old stepsister, Anna Kepner. He was initially arrested and charged as a juvenile, but will now be tried as an adult.
Let's bring in NBC News correspondent George Solis. George, Anna was killed last November while she was on a cruise vacation with her family. We covered the story then. Remind us what we know about this case and what happened in court today.
Yeah, Cadence and Clay, this was a very unusual case, if you will, in terms of some of the details, especially since this was initially tried. Timothy Hudson was initially tried as a juvenile, then this moved into adult court, essentially, and the judge making note that this is unusual because, again, in these cases, you don't really see minors being prosecuted in federal court, but because this happened in international waters, this is sort of where it landed. And in short today, the judge saying he really wants to look at this a little bit more closely before making any final determination, considering that this is all taking place in South Florida. He was currently remanded in custody with his uncle and his wife in Central Florida. And you see the charges there. He's facing first-degree murder, aggravated sex abuse charges. Some of the details in court today, almost too graphic to say out loud. But right now, it seems like the judge is going to allow him to stay under that monitoring with his family while he appoints U.S. Marshals to see, again, if there is a facility somewhere in Central Florida that Timothy Hudson could stay before this eventually goes to trial, guys.
And to that end, when are we expecting this trial to begin, and what are the next steps in this legal process?
Yeah, so right now, again, he'll be under monitoring with his family, and the judge really didn't let it be known whether or not when this case might be presented before him again. I think it really depends now at this point if they're able to find that facility. The judge noting that, and the defense really noting that he's already been in their custody and that nothing has happened. But again, prosecutors here from the government making it clear that based on some of the information and what they've learned here, they do believe he is a flight risk and a serious threat to some of the people around him. The judge did not see it that way at this point. So there's still so many more questions here. And quickly of note here, the judge was presented with some new timeline details about what happened, saying based on some of the information they learned, this all took place within about 2 hours, and there may have even been another person involved in the death of Anna Kepner. So again, a lot more questions than answers at this point. And again, for the short term, it seems like Timothy Hudson will still be in custody with his family before this case ever gets to trial. Guys.
George Solis, thank you.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.